And which ETNU Spotlight title best fits your journey to embrace the new you?
Evolve and embrace.
And why does the ETNU Spotlight Evolve and Embrace title best introduce your journey that you're going to be sharing with us today?
Probably because it took embrace, and again, this is why I relate to this so well. It took embracing a new you, but it took me so long to embrace that new me. And through the journey, kind of a little description I'm going to give. Um, but yeah, overcoming a lot of things myself, within myself, to then embrace the new me.
Nice. Can you please share your journey to embrace the new you?
Yes, yes, I shall. Yes. So thank you for letting me do this, actually. Um,
Absolutely.
and not many people, well, I guess now will, but not something that's been shared really. But I love what's happening here, like this ability to, it's like almost therapeutic. Um, so essentially, about 7 years ago, I really feel like I've taken a shift in my life. Say 7 to 8 years ago. A lot of things happened at that time all at one time. So I spent most of my life. I got born in Thailand with parents that were government officials, and we got to travel a bunch. And so kind of in a life that was not realistic, I guess maybe. And then came here to the States in 1980. Um, this is gonna be very very quick, but essentially,
Take your
up to
time.
a certain point in time, uh, I never really had to try hard at anything. Like I was just naturally adept to do things, and I thought that was a mentality. Everybody had a driver. Everybody was driven to school by a government driver, things like that. So unfortunately, that became my mentality, and so looking back, um, I always tended to try to find the easy way out of things, and like if things got hard, I wouldn't do it. Um, and quick fixes, and which led to lying and doing things like that. So I was just not a good person, that I figured myself. So, but I'm the last one to admit that. Like, of course, I spent probably 45, 48 years being a person that would not do things that were uncomfortable because as I grew up, everything was kind of handed to me. So I'm like, oh my God, if I got to do something, that's too hard. And I'll come up with excuses why I didn't do it. And so I just stayed at a status quo. But I always wondered why everybody, my peers, and everybody was so successful and all that. Never understood why. It was always their fault. Their. So I, hand to mouth, went into a marriage that, you know, wasn't meant to be, but stayed in it. Um, and it really wasn't until so I got divorced and came back, and I was in Chicago for a period of time. Came back here to Sarasota, where I'm originally was from. But with a whole that started my journey right there. So obviously, the impact of a divorce, um, which taught me lessons unto itself because really that wasn't even meant to be. So it taught me lessons about love and other things. That's a whole other thing. But again, it all kind of comes back into a lot of things going on in my head. Like you've been living 45 years or 48 years, denying yourself like this didn't happen because it's that person's fault, or I didn't play professional soccer because it was this reason. No, it was just because I didn't work as hard as everyone who always worked hard. Like when it got hard, I quit and then made up a reason why it didn't work out. It wasn't my fault. So I spent most of my life that way, easy. So, but it didn't get me anywhere. And so then it took the divorce, going into the military, coming back here to Florida after the divorce, that I had a real kind of come to Jesus moment. So, you know, so for a period of time, And I tell people it's a bucket list. Like it's a bucket list item that I wanted to live on a boat for a year and a half or a year or so. To be honest, it was kind of a breakdown for me to be like, who am I? Like, what am I? I've spent most of my life denying. I'm not saying I'm 45 years old, and what do I have to show for it? No bank account, no savings, nothing, but these excuses that I have to why it's everybody else's fault. um, so I came back. I got a boat. I lived on a boat for a year. Uh, God bless my current wife, Teresa, who um, came into my life at that point very innocently because I knew her before. And I won't go into the big details about how we came about, but she was someone that was always meant to be. But and for by the grace of God, it happened. But we went through some turmoil as well during that time because I got introduced to her. I was living on the boat, convincing myself it was a bucket list thing. But quite frankly, I just didn't know who I was, what I was doing. You are a 48-year-old man who is living check to check. You're stealing from people. You're lying to people. You're cheating. You're doing these things, but it's still not my fault. It's everything, but it's not getting anywhere. All right. So I was dating Teresa at the time, my current wife, and cheating on her, and I was on Tinder and I was on all these other apps because I could talk my way out of stuff because that's what I've always done. Um, so it came to a point where she had enough after two times it happening. And she's in the Coast Guard. I don't want to share too much. This is my story, so I don't want to go too much into, but she's in the military. And she was like, peace, I'm out. Like, I'm done. And of course, I didn't, my arrogance was like, nah, just talk my way back out of it, into it again. Didn't happen. She left. And she took orders, went somewhere else, and we didn't talk for a long time. And so it took me a long time. Like that was between sitting by myself on a boat with no money, no career to speak of, the person I really thought was the one, I destroyed that relationship. Like I had nothing. So I had kind of a real come to Jesus moment at later on in my life. And I was like, and she fell in love with somebody else at that point. Again, I don't want to talk too much about her story without her, but to me, that was wow. She was meant to be in your life only for a season to just tell you you can't be like this, and for the next person, you have to change. Like you have to. So um, it gave me about 8 months. I look at it as a huge turning point in my life because I was alone and had to face the real me, and I was like looking into a mirror, going, Mark, you tried it your way, and look where you are, and you can't. So really, basically, you have to do everything different. Like, and the fact that and Teresa was the last straw when she left for good, right? So I'm like, okay. Once I accepted that, I went through all the stages of pain and denial, anger at her, sadness, and then acceptance. It took 8 months, but that just started the journey for me because for me it was then okay. You're afraid of everything. That's why you are where you are. Like you avoid things that are uncomfortable. If they don't come easy to you, you make excuses why they're not going to happen. And so I decided, I made a conscious effort to be like, all right, like you need to change everything about you. And that's when it finally occurred to me that the only way that you can change is to find out who you really are. Like you got to look in the mirror and go, enough with the bullshit. Like enough with your self talk of why excuses on why you are how you are. You suck. Like you as a person are a bad person. Like you would rather do this than this. You'd rather. the first step is going to be, you're a liar. Don't lie. Like, you want to go after something, it's going to be hard. Like, it's going to be scary. You're going to be scared, and that's okay. Like, and that was a very difficult thing for me, being all alone, no support. Mother was passing away. Like, everything came to a head. And so I had a bit of a mental breakdown at that point, but only had myself to deal with it. Like, so there was no professional intervention. There was nothing, and that really forced me to really find out who I am. Utter silence, and again, I say on the boat too, with the storms coming in, and it's, rocky and very wavy, and semi-dangerous, with nobody to turn to, and I got myself there. That was all me, so it took all these things happening for me to just face who I was. I was an asshole. I was just not a nice person. Bit by bit, I addressed, because I had nowhere else to go, like no other excuses I could use, so okay, this is who you are. How do we change that? You've tried everything else, so you might as well do it the right way. You might as well run to your fears. You've been running from your fears for years. Here I am, so you might as well run to them. And that's when, over the period of months on that boat, it wasn't about me just, it's a bucket list, I just want to do something cool. It was like, I want to escape from the world. And I want to, and God, or whomever told me, you need to do this. You need to suffer, because you need to feel the pain. And only with that pain will you then come up with solutions for it. So I was forced to do it. There's no other options. Um, Thought about suicide, thought about, like, did all the emotions that one does, because that's an easy way out. That's the way I was always kind of living. If it's hard, what's the easy way? But I wasn't going to do that. So I had a chance now to make things right. I accepted the fact that I lost Teresa, and that she was meant to be in my life to let me know that I have to change. And so I started that slow process. I went to things that were difficult. I listened to motivational videos every day, like over and over, all day long. Like, it was an obsession, because there's so much negativity out there, that it was just like, if you at the same time go ahead and put in too much positive, it overrides all the negative out there, and you just are always thinking positive. It's a choice, right? You can think negative, you can think positive. And that started kind of my recovery, I think, back, because I had to change me inside from me. I needed people's affirmation. I needed outside people's affirmation to tell me that I was a good and a cool person, because inside I was not. And so I reached out to people, and if they didn't give me that affirmation, then I felt terrible about myself. And that time, I learned everything comes from inside you. Like, it takes being broken, like in the military, they break you down and they build you up as a unit. So I had to break down to then examine who I really was, to then build myself up, so I liked myself. So, like, it didn't matter what people said. I was happy with something, and that took a long time. Like, it was life changing. Like, it was. Like I said, I thought about other ways to go multiple times, because it was that hard. As a result, though, I started seeing what others go through that did it properly. If everything, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be nervous. It's part of the process. It's okay to fail. I was incredibly scared of failing at something, because I'd never failed in my life. Well, earlier on, it's just this childhood thing, and now I'm like, if I thought I would fail at something, I wouldn't do it, because I have to be the best at everything. But how do you do that without failing? So some of these basic adulting things I never really, I guess, got. And so I then switched my whole mentality to just do it. Just go ahead and go and do it. Be scared. And then my attitude became, if I'm not nervous every day, then I'm not doing something right. Like, I want to be nervous. I want to embrace it. I went for my real estate exam for the second time. I was a realtor prior, years prior. Um, but I love this profession, but I was scared to do it at the time because I would fail. But if I failed the test, so what? Like, then do it again. Like, this is my mentality now, but at the time it was real. Like, I'm like, it sounds so stupid. So now it's, by the grace of God, now I've got a whole different mentality, and it's a day to day. It's day to day. Like, it's a day to day. I don't say struggle because I'm not struggling with it so much anymore, but it was certainly a struggle for years up to this point. But I guess if there's anything to take out of this, um, it's just you have to be good with yourself inside. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. If you're good, if you know you're doing the right thing, then it's good, because there's a lot of times you know you're doing the right thing and people aren't going to like you for that. That's the way it is. Um, and then also it's okay to fail. In fact, it's necessary to fail. Like, you're not growing unless you're failing and are nervous. Don't fail over and over again. The same thing, but don't expect to go into something new and ace it. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So I expect to fail. I expect to learn from that failure, and then I go blah blah blah. So I don't want to go into all these different cliche stuff, but this is the type of thing that the positive motivation. It's as easy to be negative as it. In fact, it's easier to be negative than it is to be positive. And if you pump yourself up with positivity, or if you surround yourself with positive people, or sit back and go, okay, this negative thing happened. What positive can I take from this? I lost this deal. I lost this listing presentation. Okay, why? There's a reason why. Ask, for example, ask them why you lost it. Oh, because this person did this. Okay. So then moving forward, decide if you do or do not want to do that. You know? So it really is a whole shit. So anyway, so again, without getting preachy, because it's kind of how I am to myself, to keep myself motivated and all that. I guess the message is that the first step, if you're not happy in your life, if you're not where you want to be, it's because of you. Like, I don't mean to be demeaning. I'm not trying to insult anybody. This is just my own opinion because I lived it. Like, it was everybody else's fault that I was a 48-year-old guy living on a boat with no money. And I felt that was so smart. I was so damn smart. Why am I no money living on a boat? So apparently it's not, I'm the problem, not everybody else. I told myself for years and years. So I take actually great pride in the fact that I had to hit bottom. I had to have days of crying myself to sleep, days of sitting, but by then I was in a marina, or I was moored out, sitting on the dock going, I could just jump in. It'd be over. I wouldn't have to feel this way. That I didn't do that and really faced who I was and was honest with, and that's the important part. You got to be honest with who you are and then just take steps to change it. And because of that, I've got a fantastic wife. I've got great friends. I live in the town I want to live in. I'm not saying it's roses every day, because it certainly is not. It's ups and downs too. But every day, your mentality is everything, and how you look at it. And so it's like the adage, you can't change what happens to you, but you can certainly control how you react to what happens to you. And again, this is after thousands of hours of positive videos being blasted in my head, but it helps.
Hmm.
So that's my story.
Great
And
story.
yeah, hopefully some. It's hard to talk about, because obviously it's a vulnerable time,
Of course.
and you want people to think that you're strong and always have been strong, and but I think it's even more telling to go ahead and be able to tell people, look, everyone's got shit. Like everyone's got it.
Right.
But during that time, I was the most alone person in the world. Nobody was going through what I was going through. Nobody, which is totally false. But it doesn't help how you feel at the time,
Mm-hmm.
And I just think this is great. What this movement, because it allows people to get it out and say that you're not the only one. Like, no matter what your situation is, you're not the only one,
Right.
and just be okay with. And that's part of the therapy too. Like, I don't. It's not like I don't care, but I don't mind now if people know, because that's not me now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was me then, and if
Right.
somebody is going through that right now, it always gets better.
Right.
Just believe it. Like, so that's
Where did you find your strength to get past your challenges?
that I had nothing else. I think that there was no other option. The other option was death.
Right.
I don't want to be dramatic, but you felt so totally, utterly alone. Again, in the cabin of a boat on rocky water in the dark, with nothing but your thoughts,
Right.
and the person that you love the most, you messed up and is gone. Literally, she was gone,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized I did that. So to get the strength, I could either kill myself, or I could face myself
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Why are you here?"
Mm-hmm.
And there were some friends around me, so they got an earful all the time,
Hmm.
and I'm blessed that they actually put up with me during that time and helped walk me through it. But they walked me through to the point to make me look at myself. So to
That's
get the
what friends are
strength, I
for.
just had two options: kill myself or face myself.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I faced myself,
We're
and then
grateful.
just being scared all the time,
Mm-hmm.
addressed each one by one,
Right.
slowly built up.
There were a lot of obstacles that you had to overcome. What was your biggest obstacle or hurdle to overcome in your journey to embrace the new you?
Realizing that I was the problem, because I'm arrogant, you know. Like, even to this day, I'm opinionated. Now I'd like to say I'm opinionated. I've learned a lot, so I'm not arrogant now. I don't believe, I've got opinions,
Right.
um, but I'm also very sympathetic and very empathetic to people now, because you can't go through things and individual things to not then look back and go, my God, that person is struggling with something.
Right.
Back then, if you don't even know it's happening, like if you're not even accepting it's happening to you,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna criticize that person.
Right.
Look at that weirdo. Look at that mental case. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, just get up. They're struggling.
Right.
And until you hit rock bottom, I guess, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and feel the pain and you can't have empathy to somebody else,
Right.
you know? So, um, I'm sorry, what was the question again? my, my ADD just kicked in. I'm sorry.
No worries. I was asking what your biggest obstacle
Oh,
was.
it was getting over myself. And I think it's incredibly hard to finally have to admit you're the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're it, because that's harder, because then it comes with a whole lot of baggage that you've got to address,
Right.
and you got to tell yourself you suck as a person.
Right.
Like, I don't want to suck anymore.
I know you said you listened to a lot of motivational videos and watched a lot of motivational videos, but how do you stay positive now?
The same,
The same?
the same. Every morning I listen to motivational. Um, uh, and I think putting into practice and listening to them for so long, it makes it a habit. So they say, I have 60 days of doing something over and over again creates a habit. So it's become a habit to look at the positive side. Like, so I know if something bad happens to me, it's not God against me. It's not the world against me.
Right.
It's just life happening. And so, okay, so what are you going to do?
Right.
Like, are you going to, blame people for what it is? Or are you going to look at it for what it is, which is just life, and then you're going to just solve the problem?
Right.
And it's not a direct slight on you. It's like, oh my God, why is this happening? So yeah, and then surrounding myself with positive people as well helps as well. You learn to not embrace the negativity, but search for positive people, positivity.
And I know you said you had lost Teresa, but now she is your wife.
She is now my wife.
So I assume
Yes.
that too, that having her as your wife is something that helps you to stay
positive.
positive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she's my rock. Like, she's absolutely my rock. I'm a Pisces, shiny object, look squirrel kind of a guy, and she's very steadfast, and so we're opposite personalities that just click and work. So she's definitely my rock. But it took me really knowing I lost her. So the first month or two, like I said before, it's just a thing. I'll get her back, whatever. To the month 3, 4, we didn't talk.
Right.
And then seeing things on Facebook and whatever, her and her happy life and whatever with somebody else, I'm like, oh, I did screw up. So then I did never expected us to ever talk or get back again. And I think it's when one of those realizations hit, that's what triggered, you really are on your own. What are you going to do? Because then it's always like, I can save the situation. I was not in control anymore.
Right.
It's the very first time I felt that way.
What advice can you give to others who are facing their own challenges and journeys?
Never give up. Like, giving up is not an option. I'm not going to go into a long thing. All I can say is that wherever you are, it will always get better. Like, I've gone through enough things, even though right now one may be thinking, okay, it's so easy to say after you're feeling good now.
Right.
But it's true. Like, it will always get better. I've gone through a few things. One, like I said, wanting to go a different direction. I've been there, and it is better. And I said the same thing to other people. Shut up with that. Like, I don't need to hear that from you. Like, it's going to get better. Don't keep on plugging away. That's not what you're feeling at that moment. That's not what you want to hear.
Right.
But it does. So don't give up. Face you. Like, embrace you. Embrace the you. Embrace the new you. That's who you are. This is why I chose this one. Because I had to embrace the new me. I had to identify the new me,
right,
which was an asshole, and say, okay, this is me. Change it, embrace it, change it to become who you want to be. Because you're the only one that can do that. Nobody else can do it for you.
So is that how the Embrace the New You mantra, the ETNU mantra, inspired you?
Yeah. That's when we first talked about it and I first heard your movement. Immediately, that's exactly what I went through. Like, so, and again, you're gonna have other people, they're gonna have maybe more traumatic things physically, more different experiences and all this. I think to everybody, it's not really like a scale of what's more traumatic than something else. It's to everyone's personal thing. And so for me personally, this was the turning point in my life that happened when I was 48 years old and turned it around. And now, because of embracing the new me, and this is why I wear this every day, it can happen to everybody, in different ways.
Right.
Like, my story is not everyone's story.
Right.
My way is not everybody's way. But I think that the common denominator is just don't give up. You have people that love you, whether you think so or not. I don't know if you're religious. I don't know if you're in, but God wants you here. God loves you too. You know,
Mhm.
like, um, and at the very least, you deserve to be here. Like, so do it for yourself.
It's very important. With the Embrace the New You, the ETNU movement, there are shirts that have 5 different designs on it that different people, different designs resonate with them
Mhm.
for different reasons. So there's the sun, the turtle, the sunflower, the phoenix, and the butterfly. Which one resonates with you and why?
Phoenix,
And why is that?
because at a certain point, I really felt like I was flying. Like at a certain point, I really felt like I broke free. And even though it was hard every day to do it, I it's kind of a simple analogy, I guess. You know, the phoenix and flying and soaring, and and from that point, the point that I realized who I was, addressed it, and started going repairing myself. I think
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I was happy with myself is the moment my life changed. Like that's when I took ownership
Right,
of my own all my shortcomings, which there were many,
right.
things started changing. And then so with Teresa coming back in my life and things happened, it just imagine it's funny how once I did that, things turned around a bit, little by little, not
Mm-hmm.
all at one time,
Right.
but positive things started happening to me rather than negative things. Once I kind of just gave myself up and just was like, look, I have to change, you know, and doing it, things started improving. Anyway, so the Phoenix,
The phoenix.
yeah, for freedom and flight and growth.
Well, we want to thank you for sharing your journey of how you embrace the new you and appreciate your time and your story because out there, someone is going to resonate with your story. And if you can inspire someone, help to empower someone, help to allow them to love and embrace the new you, this is everything. So we greatly appreciate your vulnerability and your openness and your candor in sharing your story of how you embrace the new you.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Thank you for having me. And again, like yeah, I hope somebody can take something from this or anybody else, any other one of your spotlights that you have. I'm sure it's going to hit somebody. And I think hopefully the common denominator is, we're resilient, like more than we think we are. And you can get through this. So just keep on plugging, rely on friends. But, you're worth it. So
And you are.
thank
So
you. Thank you.
thank you so much.